If you waited 4 days to call back a homeowner who wanted a $500,000 remodel, you deserve to lose that job. So why are you letting skilled project managers and lead carpenters sit in your inbox for a week before you reply? We talk about margin fade on the job site constantly, but the biggest leak in your business isn't your estimate. It's your hiring funnel. Today, I'm sitting down with Paul Sanneman, the founder of Contractor Staffing Source. He's disrupted the industry by treating applicants exactly like high-value sales leads. We're going to break down why the labor shortage is actually a speed shortage and how to fix it. The 10-minute rule that secures top talent before your competition even opens their emails, and why paying a headhunter a 20% commission is a legacy model that is killing your overhead. So if you're tired of the panic hiring warm bodies, this is the system you need to build a bench. Welcome to Beyond the Bid. Let's get after it. You're listening to Beyond the Bid, the show by Go First, where we share the systems, strategies, and practical AI for builders. Keep listening to learn how to win more of the right projects, boost profitability, and scale beyond the bid. All right, and we're live. Welcome in, Paul.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Yeah. So welcome to Beyond the Bid. I know we had a chance to just chat about a few things earlier, but today we'll be really talking about like your bread and butter, which is staffing and talent acquisition in this lovely world of contractors and home builders.
Yeah, I'm really good at
it. Yeah, I know. You've definitely been in the game for a long time. But for those who aren't familiar, can you kind of give just a quick 30?
Well, I'll give you a quick background. Okay, I've been a business coach for 50 years, long time, right? And I've worked with a couple thousand clients over the years, and I've literally spent $120,000 on doing this. What happened about 7 years ago was I could get businesses from like $1 million to $20 million, but they couldn't find employees. I said, how hard can that be? Found the software, give them the software. They screwed up, didn't do it. I said, fine, put a guy in my garage. I said, I want you to do recruiting for my coaching client, right? Fast forward to today, I think last count, there's 47 people on the team. We've hired 4,000 or 5,000 people in the last 5-6 years. We have a 94% success rate that people last longer than a year. A typical week for me, Grant, is we go through 6,000 resumes, send 1,000 interviews, do 500 videos, and hire 10 to 20 people. That's a typical week for us.
That is pretty extensive. So yeah, let you know what number.
First, I mean, you got to go through literally, we went through 6,000 to find 20.
Yeah, 6,000 to find 20.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's a typical week for us.
Oh my God. You must have just crazy workflows and systems in the back end.
Yeah, we have a lot of systems. We automate a lot of stuff. And one of the key to our success, we use all offshore labor. I've got 47 people, I think 40 are offshore. And we use a lot of technology, a lot of AI, a lot of technology. So using offshore with really good technology is hard to beat because you can deliver an awesome product at a fraction of the cost.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've learned to do that. It's been interesting. They say there's a labor shortage. I don't think there really is. I think the shortage of labor is on the part of the contractors. They're not willing to spend the time and energy to find the people.
Can you elaborate on that? You said they're not willing to.
I can't find a carpenter. I can't find a project manager. Well, they put an ad in Indeed. They call the guy a week later. Nobody shows up. Duh, right? We put an ad on 100 job boards plus LinkedIn. We respond in 1 minute or less and put through this huge intensive like assessments and that kind of stuff and do all the work. And we always find great people, but they're not willing. I was just went to a conference, Grant. There was like a couple, I was like 100, 150 contractors there. I said, everybody raise their hand that has a recruiting budget. Two. It's the most important thing you do as your team, and nobody spends any time and energy on it. They just complain it's the circumstances, and it's not the circumstances, it's them.
Why do you think that is? That there's just so much, there's no visibility or transparency around that. Like nobody's forecasting for it.
Well, what happens is contractors see, if you're hammer, everything's a nail. Contractors, everything's a project, right?
Yep.
They need a project manager. Usually they wait way too late, right? I need him in 2 weeks. And it usually takes 3 months to find them if you're looking. And then they put an ad in Indeed and maybe 5 of the job. They get a couple people that show up. They take the best of the best of the worst. The guy shows up. and half of them don't work out. And whose fault's that? It's there. They don't have an ongoing recruiting budget. They don't go through hundreds of people to find one. They just don't do what they need to do to find people. And it's their fault. There's people out there. I found 4,000 someplace, right?
Yeah.
And I don't go, oh my God, I have to go through 6,000 to find 15. I just say, okay, those are the numbers. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Interesting. Your presentation, your talk with the two that, I guess maybe that's a good question, is like, what separates the guys who raise their hands, the two, right, from everybody else apart?
They understand the most important thing you're ever do as a contractor is build a team.
Yeah.
I use Elon Musk's example. You may love or hate him, but what is his secret sauce? He can build team. That is what he does really well. He gets the best people in the world to come to work for him.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he's successful. I mean, he's a smart guy, but it wouldn't do him any good at all if he didn't have teams.
That's right. Yeah.
And what happens to contractors is they don't understand their most important skill is the ability to build a team. They think it's, oh, I'm great at framing, or I'm good at EOS, or whatever. It's the team thing. And so in this industry, I'm going to have a little talk here. There's 6 myths in this industry, which are total bullshit. All right. The first one is only recruit when you need somebody. That is not true. Any decent company that's doing a good job is recruiting all the time. All right. The next myth is employees are expensive. You can't make any money without employees. The more employees you have, the more money you make. They're not expensive. They're an asset. There's another one. We can do the recruiting ourselves. How hard is it? They all suck at it. They're not good. It's not their skill set, right? And hopefully they don't do their own accounting. They probably don't do their own electrical. And why do they think they can do their own recruiting? They're terrible at it. And so they think they do it themselves and they screw it up. Another myth is recruit within the construction industry. That's not true. I'll give you an example. Let's say a elections coordinator, right? Wedding planners kill it because think about a wedding planner. You've got a lot of sort of flaky. You got the venue, the flower person, the band, the caterer, all those kind of industries.
Yep.
They all got to show up at the right place at the right time. They all got to get stuff done. Everybody has to be happy. Sounds like a remodel for me. And the thing is, wedding planners want to do that for a living. That's fun for them. The hospitality industry doesn't pay anything at all. So we've got a lot of wedding planners just killed it. And then the other one, this is probably the worst. Hire fast and fire slow. That's death because they're desperate, right?
Yeah.
So the first one that comes along that looks like it's not totally, except, not terror, they hire. So they hire fast. Bad idea. Then they get their world's worst employee. Somebody who's not bad enough to fire or good enough to keep. Purgatory. They're terrible. They keep them forever because they can't fire them.
Yeah.
They just kill the organization. One bad employee can wipe out your entire corporate culture. I've seen it happen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so what you should do is you hire slow. You look for a long time to find the right person. When I work for hundreds of contractors, how fast can you find my guy? We need it like 2 weeks. I go, you should have started 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Right? You hire slow. You look all the time. And the other one, which is typical, is recruiting is a project that is, and most contractors see recruiting as a project, like a house. You need a project manager. You got a new job. You find a project manager and you stop. That idea. It's a process. When do you stop marketing? When it works. So recruiting is a process. There's another thing that I think is important for a lot of these contractors. I'm going to say there's 2 types of cultures, just to be broad. One is, I call it football team. You're as good as your last season. You always have to perform. Everybody on the team looks at it. It's a performance. Everybody's got to, perform or they're not going to beat it. Then there's the federal government. Unless you screw up really bad, you stay forever, right?
Right, yeah.
So the problem is most companies are running on the federal government model. They just, because they don't know how to fire people. They're not willing to fire people. It's them. They hire slow and hire fast and fire slow. So they get this mediocre team. I'll tell you, listen to this podcast right now. Anybody that you wouldn't rehire immediately, you should fire. There's always people like that.
Yeah, that's a good challenge. I like that.
And so it is, they create their own problem.
That's really interesting. Number 5 on that list really hits home, I think, right? In terms of just the reactive nature of construction too. Right. How do these contractors and builders, how do you become more proactive in your hiring, right? Like when you You know that you have a project 2 weeks out, and you know that you should have been a lot more proactive.
Well, the answer is simple, Grant. You hire all the time. There isn't any quality company that doesn't hire all the time in this country that I know, because that's just what you do. And you also market all the time. If you're smart, you consider yourself a marketing company that does construction. If you're not, you consider yourself a construction company that has to spend money on marketing because they got to get clients.
That is really, really good. I think that way of it, we're a marketing company that just happens to do construction.
The lowest success of the world. I don't care if you're looking at Costco or Amazon and Netflix, all marketing companies. They fund their marketing with some kind of product or service.
Yeah.
But they're very clear they're a marketing company.
Absolutely.
And if you could change your life, I've tried and failed many times to get the contractor to say you are a marketing company that fund your marketing with construction. But a lot of them don't see that. They don't come from that. It was a hard time, Grant, for people to make the change from a craftsman to an entrepreneur. It's a different skill set, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So as a craftsman, you have a sense of immediacy. You look from week to week. You just think, how do I get this thing built in a week? I mean, it's a different answer. It's an entrepreneur, you think like a year in. You're willing to invest money that you're not going to get back for 6 months.
Yeah.
One of the things I try to do with a lot of contractors is I get them to work with architects, right? And I just give a talk on that. But, because of the problem is, architects already have a girlfriend, and it's not you. But you shouldn't let that get in your way, right? But it takes 6 months and 6 or 7 meetings where they give you a job. Most contractors don't have that patience. And they go 1 or 2 meetings. Give me a job, I'm done, right? They have this immediate sense of urgency, which just doesn't serve them. So I think that's, in fact, if you have time, Grant, I will tell you exactly what they need. Nobody's going to do this. When maybe of the people listening to this, I would say 5% will do it. I'm going to tell them right now. And I'll tell them exactly what they need to do. All right?
Yeah.
So like, why is America fat? I mean, what is the answer? You eat right and you exercise. What is the problem? Everybody knows the answer, but people don't do it. This is very much the same thing. So I will tell you exactly what you need to do to get all the quality people you need. You ready?
I love the suspense.
Okay. First, write a job that will get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you. You don't want to hire anybody who doesn't have a job. Now, the good news is AI can actually do that. ChatGPT is good at it.
Yeah.
You can go to ChatGPT and say, I'm a plumbing contractor or I'm a remodeling contractor in Kansas City. This is my market. This is my city, blah, blah, blah. Write the ad for me and it'll write a killer ad. So AI is good at that. That didn't happen 2 years ago. So AI will write you the job ad, right? Next, you ask AI, you say, where should I post this job ad to get the biggest use of this market, right? AI will give you 50 or 60 places to post it. It will give you trade schools. It will outline everything you need to do and where to place that ad. But it's sort of like, well, if you want to lose weight, you only have 2,000 calories a day.
That's exactly
right. That's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like 4,000 calories a day. So it will tell you where to place all the job ads. It won't place them for you. It won't make a decision on how much you want to spend on the ads. It can, it is, I'm thinking AI is really useful. It's called, AI is very intelligent, but it's not wise. The difference between intelligence and wise is intelligence is building a ship. Wise is knowing where to go with it, right? It's a different. So it will tell you, it's intelligent, it will tell you all the place you need to post it. It won't tell you which one's for you, which one should you. That's your decision, all right?
Yeah.
Next, this is the hardest one that they'll never do. Respond in real time.
Oh, yeah.
We respond to 6,000 people a week in real time. They're not going to do it. And speed to lead, right, Grant? Speed to lead. It's true for applicants too. You got about a minute and then it goes, right? So if you're a project manager, you're going through Indeed or someplace and you apply. Nothing happens till like 9 of places you apply. One place gets back to you in 35 seconds. Where do you think about that? They have their act together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And most contractors apply, if they're lucky, 2 days later or 3 days. It's like, doesn't work. That's the hardest one to yourself is to respond in real time. And that one, you have to do that yourself. And that's why we have like a book. All right. Next one, a detailed skills and behavioral assessment. I think we've got the best in the industry, but you can use, Briggs Myers. There's a bunch of really good assessments out there.
Oh, sure.
You've got to assess the candidate because you can't do that on an interview. So get a really good assessment that works for you and you've got to use it. And we have I think the best industry, but as I said, we have 6,000 applicants who do 1,000 assessments, right? A week. Of those 1,000 assessments, you always send video interviews to 500 of them. Now, the problem with assessments, Grant, is that with an assessment, you have to know how to interpret. And so I suggest if you use Briggs Myers or DISC, one of those, you get somebody else who knows what they're doing to interpret that assessment for you and that candidate.
That's right. Yeah.
We have to train people how to do that. Okay, that AI can, it can tell you what assessments to give. As far as interpreting the assessment, that takes somebody who knows what they're doing, all right? That's the next part. Now, once you do an initial video interview. We do, as I said, a ton of those. There's a lot of programs you can put it on, they can do it on their phone, on the computer. You have a list of questions. We always change the questions depending on the company. You have a list of questions, you do a video interview because you can find out stuff in the video interview you couldn't find out on the assessment, right? So that's key. So you do a video interview and that'll allow you to find out the things you don't understand in the assessment, okay? All right. Next, to do the video interview, Zoom interview, you conduct a background check. That is key, all right? You have to conduct a background check. You can't do a background check to offer them a job in some states. It depends on the state, all right?
Right.
You gotta do a background check in order to offer them a job. And then you do, okay, hold on. Hey guys, you do a video interview, all right? Now you get this. Hey Lisa, I'm recording. Right. So a video interview, and then you hopefully a Zoom interview because that's in person, and then you do in-person interview. Okay, so that's the whole system. Once you do all that and you conduct the background check, you call the references. True story, Grant. I had a guy who had a bookkeeper who embezzled, right? It happens all the time. He called the DA and said, "Hey, dude, I want you to prosecute this woman." He goes, "Don't you realize she got fired from her last 2 jobs from embezzlement?"
Wow.
He never even checked it.
That's crazy.
Right? Call the references. You got to do that. Okay, now you got to make a competitive job. Now, AI is good at that. You can say, do the research for a plumber in Kansas City, check all the, website. Tell me, what do I have to offer this guy? And write the job offer for him. It will do that. So the AI is good at writing job offer.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is you got to have a good onboarding procedure. Now, think Grant, if you change jobs very much in your life, Grant, you get for different jobs.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, remember the first day you went to work on your new job, right? Now, you either came home with some version of these 2 or something in between. You went to your wife, whoever it is. "Oh my God, this is the best decision I ever made. I'm so happy." "Hey dear, I think I made a mistake." Like a first date. You can't fix it, right?
Yeah.
You better mature. They go home and tell their spouse, "That's the best decision I ever made." You don't want to throw them a 2-bell, say, "We're late on this project, go out there and fix it." So the first day is the most critical day. You got to fall in love with the company.
Yeah.
Then we'll also have to follow up on an onboarding that can take like 6 months. Now, AI is good at that. Go to ChatGPT and say, "This is what I want to do." It'll write the job description. It will write the KPIs. It will write the ad. It will write the onboarding process. AI is good at all that stuff. And it'll do it for you. So those are the things. And there it is, guys. Just do that and you're good. I'll go one time. You're rolling. Do that. You post it everywhere. I can tell you where to post it. You respond to applicants in real time. Good luck with that. You do detailed behavioral assessments. You do initial phone screening, in-person Zoom interviews, conduct a background check, call references, make a competitive offer, and do it onboarding. We're done.
Wow.
That's it.
Do you think that's why, one of the reasons why so many contractors are so reactive when it comes to hiring is because they see this as just another gigantic project?
They don't even know what they don't know. That's the problem, Grant. They think, "Oh, I'm going to put an ad in Indeed. I'm going to call a couple of guys and I'll find somebody, no problem." It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to build a house. I'm not going to get a permit. I'm not going to have a set of plans. I'll just send the guys out there and tell them I want a house that looks cool and let them do that.
Makes sense.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, if you do this, I found 4,000 people from carpenters and they got a 94% success. So they are out there, but unless you do all this stuff, you're never going to.
That makes sense. Absolutely. So with you and your team, Paul, do you guys work with really all levels of contractors and builders?
In a typical week, we hire everything from a lawnmower guy to a CEO. Literally carpenters, electricians, plumbers, laborers. We hire painters, all those kind of people. We hire a lot of project managers. We then hire, bookkeepers, accounting people, and literally project managers, or even COOs and CEOs. We hire anything in construction. We'll hire. Now, there is something that's happening in industry, which I'm using, and I think you're supposed to do, is what can you do offshore, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you can, if it's a person who's like getting in touch with architects and making you look good, that can be done offshore. I have 2 full-time VAs. I've got a guy that's doing all his architecture offshore because he hired a licensed architect in Colombia for $8 an hour and he's killing it.
Wow.
And anything bookkeeping. I had a funny story. I knew a person who said, "Oh, I can't trust the people in the Philippines with my books, blah, blah, blah." Well, I know a guy who does exclusively for contractors. All he does is contract. We trust him because he's a, American guy in Kansas City or something. His whole team is in the Philippines. So, I mean, I read some statistic that 20% of jobs are done offshore. Crazy number in the U.S.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, I believe that.
But you've got, so we can tap into that. So if you're smart, you'll recruit all the time. You'll go offshore if it makes any economic sense. I just hired a marketing person. She kills it. And I think, she does all my VA. She does all kind of stuff for me. And I think it's where she turned out $8 She does kick great. I have 2 full-time VAs. So I have one woman in Nigeria that does something, tries to look up contractors. And the thing is to have a great work ethic. They just do, because that's the way they were brought up, right? It's just different.
Oh yeah. So same thing too, right? Like, if you're a contractor who's interested in getting a VA to help, you could go the same route as the six little steps that six.
I know. Now VA offshore is a little harder. We have to go through 600 to 1,000 people to find one because we get 50 applicants a day.
Wow.
And the sorting process is huge. And we're looking all over the world. So the numbers are just crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like you're looking for a, carpenter in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Numbers are a lot worse in the sense. But if you play the numbers, it always works.
Are you seeing that just like the attraction to getting more BAs, especially with, back end operations and streamlining marketing? Are you seeing that just kind of on the rise with?
Well, I think it's going to take off because when you think about it, offshore people, there's now a way to find them, right? Because everything's worldwide in, in country of the world.
Yeah.
There's a way to vet them, which you know how to do that. And they have the tools. I mean, they've got all access to the same AI I do, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a video editor in the Philippines that has all the most sophisticated video editing tools, right? And she's $6 an hour and kills it.
That's awesome.
So I think we just have to get on board. I have a sort of a funny thing, private equity is now coming to construction. You probably noticed that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So why do you think private equity is coming in construction?
It's a great question. Just because one, it's growing like crazy. 2, it's one of the areas that AI can't necessarily touch as much.
Right. If you have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and you were investing in information from any kind of things, it could have been movies, it could have been attorneys, it could have been doctors, whatever. AI is just disrupting all those industries.
Yeah.
And so where are you going to put your money? I was listening to a podcast and a guy said he was like a guru in AI. He said, "What did you tell your son to do?" He said, "Become a plumber," right? Because that industry is getting, so all this hundreds and hundreds of millions or billions is coming into the construction industry. That's doing a couple things, sort of the good news and the bad news. The good news is the multiple of your company has gone through the ceiling. Like, if a percentage of it, I've got plumbing companies that are getting like 10 times EBITDA, crazy numbers, right?
Wow.
Because people are just spending cash. The bad news, if they don't buy you, they can put you out of business because they got way more cash than you do, way more systems than you do. And it's called the Walmartization. I remember, I'm sure old enough to do this, but there used to be downtowns that had like a drugstore and an apartment, all these little stores, right? They couldn't find people. They complained the customers are paying blah, 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 right? Somebody has a Walmart outside of town. Somewhere they find 500 people. Somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And they have marketing systems. And they just suck all the work out because they're better at it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's better, cheaper, faster. And so what happens is, why do you buy stuff from Amazon? Because you can get it as cheap and as fast. Why? Because it's tough for those people to compete. So if you're in the construction industry, sign on, get a marketing company, get a recruiting company. The good news is use AI. If you use the systems, there's a bit of a leveler there. You can have the same access to systems as they do. But do not try, it's like, I'm going to use a newspaper to find somebody who's kidding. But it's like, it doesn't work anymore, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's important in this time in the construction industry that you use the technology, use the systems, and their marketing. There's a lot of really good people out there that aren't that expensive like us because we're as good as recruiting for a Fortune 500 company because we know what the hell we're doing and we're cheap. because we're using AI offshore. So that it's possible for the small guy to still compete, but he's got to get on the ball and use those kind of resources.
That makes perfect sense. So at what point should a contractor reach out to you? When they're thinking through their hiring strategy, or when, I guess.
Well, any contractor that wants to hire people should call us. I mean, literally, we have like 800 contractors to do with. They're all between probably $1 million and 15 million. Once you get to 30 or 40 million, you build your own HR department.
That's right. Yeah.
And you do all this stuff. That's what works, right? People hire franchises because they've got HR department and they got marketing department. When you're a small guy, you don't have those systems. You hire people like us. I've literally hired people that are just starting their business because they're smart enough to say, oh, no, I talked to a guy. He said, well, I said, he has 10 to 20 million to something. I'm going to start a roofing company in Nebraska. Why? He says, well, easy. First place, I know marketing. I can help you you can do recruiting. I understand business. How hard is roofing? I can figure that out. And all those guys are starting to suck. I mean, I will be the best roofing company in Nebraska in 3 years.
Amazing.
Because they've got the systems, right?
Yep.
And so all those little guys that are trying to follow, they're going to be gone because he knows how to recruit people, how to market, how to deliver great product at a great price. He uses technology. He's got all those systems. And unless you're willing to sign on board with that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big proponent of it, so I love seeing that trend. I think it's fascinating how that is taken off. Just
right.
It's like
with a great opportunity if you're willing to take advantage. I say they're going to buy you for a ton of money or put you out of business. You make the choice.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, Paul, this was a killer conversation. I love hearing about like the steps and just learning more about, why it's so important to get that speed to lead up, especially for guys who, really struggle with it, which is everybody. How can guys like get a hold of you and learn more?
Go to Contractor Staffing Source, all right, .com. And there's a big button that says appointment with Paul. I still sell because what the hell, it's what I do, right? So go to Contractor Staffing Source and there's a button that says appointment with Paul, 15 minutes. Click on that button and they get on my calendar. I'm happy to talk to them about it.
And it's all good for you too. Like how big you guys are and you're still taking on those calls.
I mean, it's like calls I had to work for years, but what am I going to do for fun, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
No, I really love it. I mean, I do it for my most fun I have is selling contractors. It's my favorite. I mean, I play golf, I was saying, but I love it. That's why I'm never going to quit. It's fun.
Oh man, that's amazing. Good for you. But well, hey, I really appreciate you jumping on.
I mean, I hope people listen will actually do some of that stuff. I mean, yeah. when you know exactly how to do it. Either hire us to do it or do it yourself, but admit you're the problem. Now, I always said, I think Jim Rohn said this, you always got to work harder on yourself than you do on your business.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
If you're willing to do this, you can solve your recruiting problem. Absolutely.
It's well, hey, like I said, great conversation.
Really appreciate being here. I really hope some people listen and we can change supplies with this. That'd be great.
Absolutely. That's the goal. But you enjoy the rest of your day and we'll chat soon.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
You're listening to Beyond the Bid, the show by Go First, where we share the systems, strategies, and practical AI for builders. Keep listening to learn how to win more of the right projects, boost profitability, and scale beyond the bid. Look, my entire mission with this series is to see talented builders and business owners stop getting run over by operational chaos and to actually start building the business they deserve. If this episode gave you even one tool or 1% of a tool to fight back, please share it with a fellow builder. Help me spread the word. That is all I ask. So make sure you subscribe so you're ready for the next one. Until then, systems scale your success.